Welcome guys, Gabriel Varga here. Today we're going to be talking about 6 tips for a six-pack. Now I have this six-pack. It doesn't matter if it's the holidays, it doesn't matter if it's training camp, doesn't matter if I've been injured and I've been out of training for 6 months. I always maintain this. But how do I do it? Well, after a lot of requests from people at seminars, a lot of private messages, I decided to break down the reasons I think I've been able to maintain the six-pack, and today I'm going to share them with you. We're going to be starting in the video with 3 of them. I'm going to break them down in detail for you. And then once we're done, you can go to the description below, click on the link there, unlockyourvitality.com, where you can download the whole PDF cheat sheet, which I really believe will help you get that stomach shredded out and get that six-pack if it's something you've been wanting. So first up, tip number 1, start with your diet. Now I don't want to bum you guys out. I'm not saying that you need to cut your calories back by 50% or you can never eat fun food, because I do all that. My tips are quite different. And the first thing that I've been doing for the past, I think it's 15 years now, close to 15 years, is to eat small meals, but a lot of them. Probably an average of 5 meals per day. I still make the breakfast, lunch, dinner my big meals, but I have those small meals, or if I can't get to them, which a lot of people can't, you're too busy. If I don't have time for additional small meals, I eat lots of snacks throughout the day, probably 3 to 5 snacks per day. Now, the general rule of thumb that I have when it comes to eating is I never want to eat so much that I don't feel like I can work out when I finish. So what I mean by that is basically if I am so full that I feel like I can't even go for a kilometer jog, when I finish eating, I go, you know what, I ate too much. And along with that, something else that I generally implement if I'm really trying to stay healthy, I actually utilize this in my weight cuts, is I do not eat carbs after 2 p.m. And I find that works so well. It's so significant actually that during my weight cut, I can do everything the same. I can consume basically the same amount of calories, but cutting those carbs out after 2 p.m. will make me lose half a pound to a pound each day. And I still get my carbs in the morning, so my energy levels are still really high. It's just in the evening where I ease on back off them, and I can still be full because I'm putting in lots of healthy fat and protein into my body. Now, of course, you know, there are certain things that I don't do. I don't eat too much junk food, but we'll get into that in a future video. But I also don't eat prepackaged frozen food because, you know, the salt content and the quality of everything is just not that great. Now, as we wrap up tip number 1, keep in mind that even though it sounds counterintuitive to eat more meals per day, it is actually very beneficial. It's just small portion sizes. We're not talking small, like, you know, the plate's this big and you're only putting on that. It's just I'm not making this big mound of food on top of my plate. All right, moving on to tip number 2, exercise your abs in new ways. You don't want to do the same motion over and over and over. Crunches, for example, crunches or sit-ups. People do them all the time, and I used to do them as well. You know, 200 or 300 every night before I went to bed, but I just found that the definition was not increasing. So what did I do? I kept up with the sit-ups, but I added in new things. And one of the easiest ways I found to really work the abs is just to engage the core pretty much through any exercise you're doing. I can be running and I maintain tight stomach. If I'm doing, you know, squats, my stomach is tight, it's locked up. Same with deadlifts. And learning to maintain that tight core is just extra important if you're a competitive fighter, because when you get hit, you're getting used to keeping everything tense. If you're throwing a shot, you're keeping that stomach tense, so it's even better for competitive purposes. But at the same time, just utilizing that stomach in motions where you could normally relax it are gonna make it work harder and give you a little bit more definition. And then of course, if you want the, you know, the obliques, you want some muscles in the side, I just add in side crunches and all those other little things which will just make that stomach pop a little bit more. So for tip number 2, I just want you to really wrap your head around the idea that if you want a shredded stomach, doing sit-ups is not the only thing you should be doing. Tip number 3, exercising the abdominal alone, just that by itself, is not going to necessarily give you abs. You can do 1,000 crunches per day, but if you still have a little layer of fat over, you're not going to be able to see that definition which you're building. So to try and burn off fat or to try and keep it off, I really like high intensity interval training, that HIIT style of training. So that means instead of going out for a 10-kilometer run where you're just kind of blah, 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 I prefer sprints, you know, whether it's 800-meter sprints, 400-meter sprints, 100-meter or 50-meter where you're going really fast, you take a break, you go really fast, you take a break. Your body responds to that, the muscles grow in a shorter period of time as well, because those long runs, you have to be on the road for a long time. Or if you're at the gym, you're trying to burn a lot of calories slowly, you need to be there for a long time. But if you go out and you do your workout fast and hard, you will burn those calories quickly and you can get that fat down to expose those stomach muscles much faster in that shorter period of time. So if you're looking for a quick way to start shredding out the body and make those abs noticeable, wind sprints. I've been doing those since I was in high school, and I keep them up all the time, and they are just an amazing way to make sure that the stomach and the body is just staying really strong. Okay guys, so far we're 3 tips into my 6 tips. If you want to find out the rest and you haven't already done it, go to the description below. Click on the link unlockyourvitality.com. It's actually a project that my wife and I are doing together. We're going to be teaching people how to stay healthier, how to stay fit, how to build self-confidence. And because the diet and the exercise are my area of expertise, along with the confidence, I have that just in abundance. And her side is skin rejuvenation, beauty, and she's fantastic at all that. Together we're going to be able to collaborate and really give you guys an amazing amount of information that is just going to be full of an abundance of value. But it's not available yet. At the moment, you can click on the link below, go to unlockyourvitality.com and download your 6 tips for a 6-pack. It's my own cheat sheet. Again, I've been using these tips every day for about 20 years. I hope you guys find them as beneficial as I do. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. If you haven't already, make sure you get subscribed, like the video, and I'll see you back here soon for another episode.